don't. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 40th episode of the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny Shady. How you doing?
Well enough, Collins. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, first things first, this is a little bit weird, a little bit different than normal. I did not really do the topics or anything. We're basically waiting for the open format of Salissa's tournament to begin. We thought it was going to be like an hour ago, but it seems that she wants to wait until a couple of people are removed. There was 256 people in an open invitational. And, that's quite a lot of people, right? There's always going to be hiccups. There's going to be delays and stuff like that. We were waiting to cast and commentate on some of the gameplay, but there was a delay. So we figured in this wait, it's a good time to do the podcast. We forgot this. Well, I wouldn't say we forgot, but we were busy this week, right? That's what we were busy this week, but I do think this is a perfect opportunity to do the podcast for this week. And we do have quite a bit to talk about, so it won't be like a weird episode. This is going to be a little bit different because I normally don't read chat. I'm going to be reading chat. If you guys have live questions and stuff like that, we will be answering that, for this one. So kind of a unique episode, but I do think makes a lot of sense for the situation that we've put ourselves in. So yeah, we always start with the weekly overview. I think that's still fine to do if you have anything that you want to talk about this week.
Just in general, tournaments changing my perception of the game.
I feel like tournaments always change your perception of the game. You're definitely one to let the tournaments, be like, oh wow, that tournament was weird. I got to play different. And then after a week, you're like, oh well, maybe tournament meta and ladder meta are a little bit different. I always feel that happens for you, particularly every time we do tournaments. And I think it makes sense just because like you learn so much in tournaments, right? And then you just like want to apply it, right? You want everyone to be like, you want everyone to give you that tournament experience. So you kind of try to force it in, but then people just play differently when it's not.
Especially with lobby legends being announced, right. I think the level of play should rise drastically next season. So
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna have
introducing cash incentives to play better is not gonna raise the overall level of the player base.
I think the overall level won't change, but the upper level will. If that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, sorry. The average level of the lobbies we play in.
Sure, there's still going to be like even when we're like 14K, I still have people saying, oh, I was just 9K. What am I doing here? So there's going to be like one or two like suckers, if that's not us in that lobby, there's always going to be people that are like, this feels, I know all these names and I don't know why.
But that's not really relevant, right? Like what's relevant is that the overall level goes.
But yeah, but having a dead player, like having dead players do change the lobbies and stuff.
Of course, but it's going to get closer to tournament level than before.
That's the hope. Not for me. I don't care, but that's the hope for Shady. I'm assuming you get more practice for actual tournament play and regular play, but I don't believe. But we'll have to see, right? Like that's just one of those things you don't know. If you won't know until it happens, right? Like, and I mean, it also depends on the format, honestly, right? Like if a lot of people can make it, then you'll have more people pushing, right? But if it's like very small amounts of people, a lot of people won't even try. And I think if a lot of people aren't going to try, then you're also not going to have that big.
I think it'd be really weird if they say it's only top 4 that qualifies. So
I know, but it's Blizzard.
I know.
I hear all the hopium.
Even for Blizzard, I don't think that they're going to be like, well, 4 players make it.
I really hope that's not the case.
Well, it's less work than running a qualifier. And that's really dangerous for me to say it, because it's less work.
Yeah.
That might be how it works, right? Just be like, it's so nice. Like you guys can earn your spot through ladder, right? Just 4 from every region. And it can be 4 different people every time.
I do think what will happen, if that does happen, is like if they announce it and it's just like 4 people per region, there'll be a lot of backlash. And I think that will help them change it up, right? Like, so even if the first one's something awkward or weird. The backlash, especially for battlegrounds, like we're pretty vocal. So, I think they were open to changing up their format, right? They did mention that they were very open to changing up. So I do think the first one they're gonna just toss out whatever they think is easier or whatever, based on feedback and backlash they might adjust. So I do think eventually, especially by the end of the year, like because they're gonna have multiple tournaments, it's gonna be something we're gonna be like, okay, this feels okay, like top 16, top 32, like whatever. We'll see. But yeah, you're right. Most of our week is either tournaments or casting tournaments, right? Like you were playing a lot of tournaments, I was casting in a lot of them, either on my channel or on the other players' channel. So yeah, very similar weeks, just different like avenues in essence. But yeah, I do want to talk about the tournaments. I think that's
Sure.
the big topic. Like if we were gonna if I were gonna make the topics, right, I would cover. I would have like the random hero, the random minion. Who cares about that? It'd be the tournaments and then the announcements. I think as well, right? Like what they've revealed, right? Because obviously we're both participating in that. I think that'd also be cool. First things first, right? Just the streamer cup, right? The Cal VPN streamer cup.
Cal VPN,
yeah, by Signed, right? I was
which you passed the whole thing.
Yeah. I was recruited to be the English broadcast for that one, and I got to choose my co-casters and all that. And I thought it was at least from a production standpoint really well done, right? Like if you watched it, like all these spoilers, if you watched it, like especially as I'm watching Solstice tournament, right, I can see the immediate differences, right? The ability to watch more than one player at the same time, right? I think that was something really cool. They also had live HP totals, live level totals, right? They definitely had a much bigger production team than just like one person looking at one screen, right? They had almost they were looking at all the screens at one and also able to readily update their levels and their health at the immediately. And I thought that was really cool. And it was also definitely an interesting or a different tournament than I thought it would be, right? When I saw a tournament of this quality, this caliber, right? I really thought it would be a lot of elementals, but we really didn't see that many. I don't know how you felt in your games, if you were feeling like, oh yeah, there was a lot of elementals in the lobbies that I played, but the ones I watched, and I watched all of them. Right, I casted all of the games. I really didn't feel like elementals were that dominating. It was really Murlocs and Pirates, and then my Exna, like those three that were doing most of the damage in that tournament.
I mean, there definitely were some elementals, and especially I think in the earlier rounds. I think once you were in the finals, it was very, very cutthroat, very, very, very difficult because I played some light spawn. It was very difficult to have big enough elementals or the right types of elementals.
People got big so fast, right? Like that's
big so fast, and poison very early, very fast.
Does poison not count? I mean, it's technically infinite attack, right? Like, isn't that big?
Yeah, but if you say people got big,
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Like that's
So
that was like I had a lot of unfortunate rounds where like I have a 70/70 elemental and there's a spore and it connects with that one and I'm fine if it
I
doesn't
saw
go
that.
there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I had multiple instances of that happening, but still, like people were extremely aware that you needed to have poisons on your board. So the that means that you are trying to get the counter scam operational as fast as possible, which means that just farming stats on your elementals doesn't do as much, and you're better off just getting the right types of elementals, or just playing your own murlocs and getting selfless and baron and stuff.
That brings me. We're gonna be jumping around today. I'm just gonna say that right now. But that brings me to an interesting point of how long this meta has been, right? Because I really feel that this doesn't happen that often, where we've played a meta like the same meta so often. I mean, so long that we went into like
Yeah,
a different meta of the same meta. You know, because
yeah,
I'm like the beginning of the meta was just like, what are we doing? Then people found Avenge, right? Then people mastered Avenge. Then people learned, oh, this. Let's not do all Avenge. Let's actually go like tier 6 poison stuff. And then people go like, okay, let's get big real fast. You know, and like the meta was, you know, like a month ago was just like, oh yeah, light spawn like is a
yeah.
problem. Everyone's, and now I'd be like, light spawn, yeah, it's okay. Like, you know, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'll
be
play
like,
one.
yeah,
I'll
like,
play one, right? Yeah,
yeah, right. But
I'll play a light one.
it's not like, damn, this card is just like the nutter butter. Everything is,
Yeah,
this is
it
a
was the
big
best.
problem.
It was the best card in the game for a while for me, and that's no longer true. So,
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? Like, and I really feel like a lot of the times you get to like that first part of the meta, and then a patch comes out, and then things change, and then you
yeah,
get to that first part of the meta, the patch comes out, and then things change. But you don't get to this point where like all the top players are good, you know, at this particular meta, you, you know, where it's like, okay, I you know what to do, because usually like there'll be someone who like knows, oh, light spawns the line, and then like 2 weeks later you'll have some players like at this stage of their knowledge, right, where they've played so much, you're like, you know, light spawn's fine. Like it's, you know, it's not the real issue. Like if you said that like a month ago, you'd have a lot of question marks, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't mean you're wrong because you understood it a month ago. Yeah, it just means that people haven't caught up, you know, and things like that. And I do think it's interesting that um, a lot of times you're not gonna see this level of knowledge between all the players where it's like, oh, we understand, like this is the obvious meta, but this is the true meta, you know, or something like that. And it's just interesting for me, I think, just to see the evolution when the meta is the same, or so, right? Because normally
I mean, don't metas always evolve?
they
Like,
do, but
it's only
usually,
gone
I'm saying
down.
usually patches happen to change that. Like patches make it evolve
Oh,
quicker.
hey, so or it's I don't think you're even or maybe you are saying that, but
Say
I think
something and I'll agree or disagree.
yeah. So I think the phenomenon here is that usually what you're seeing here is sort of artificially facilitated by
By the
introducing
patches,
patches
yeah,
and
yeah,
saying like,
exactly.
look, this was strong before and you guys were playing it, and it is now weaker and you guys should not be playing it. And um, there is indeed a patch that happened that nerfed Lightspawn, but that's not the reason that Lightspawn, right? So yeah, for those of you who didn't see that, Lightspawn turned from a 4/5 into a 2/5,
Dude,
which
I'm gonna get
is
some
nothing, right?
comments. I'm
So
gonna get some
uh,
comments. You're like, you said this is the same meta, but actually there was a patch like 2 weeks ago. What are you talking?
yeah, so I guess that's the thing. There have been a lot of non-patches where
Yeah,
I shouldn't call them non-patches because there were some definite quality of life things, and the armor system I think you could call one of those, where now if you have to take a rat king or something, at least you're getting 10 extra armor,
I
right?
would say
Like lit.
armor was the most like recent real patch in my opinion.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, armor that doesn't even change.
The high
That doesn't
end. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what
that
you
doesn't
mean.
necessarily change it as much, right? It's not like, oh, we introduced armor, now I'm no longer going to pick X card, right? It's more like, okay, maybe it's a little less about being protected. So I think that the biggest shift was Diablo, right? Like that was that was the latest really big shift where we played a
Sure.
certain way.
Okay, yeah.
Then Diablo came out, and we're like, whoa, okay. And then Diablo was gone, and it
Yeah.
feels like we could go back to the quote unquote proper meta after Diablo was gone. Because in the Diablo meta, you were essentially playing with 25 health, right? You have minus 15 health from the get go, because it is extremely likely that you will get damage capped by Diablo on the on turn 8. So you have to keep that in mind all the time, which meant that you stayed on 3 a bit longer. You were really trying to win your fights right before the Diablo fight, let the Diablo kill some other people, and then you just like cheese your way up the ranks by virtue of just like not dying, right? That's essentially it. You didn't even need to have that much of an end game plan. Like Tempo Beast was really good. You were just trying to survive. So that was the point. Now the evolution that we're seeing right now is that people are saying like, well, if you guys are just making huge elementals extremely efficiently, because of before you need to get Nomi, now you just do light spawns and some milk, well, I'm just going to build poisonous units straight away, and I'm going to queue into a lot of elemental players, and those poison units will do really well. And that is just I think I like that, because that is a natural evolution of, we're just going to play like this. And then let's say this meta continues long enough and there was no patch,
Right.
maybe people start saying, hey, Omega Buster's really good right now because you just make a bunch of tokens and the tokens kill the Maxnas and the sevens and stuff. So
Same
this,
thing
you know,
with like Golden Mama or something.
yeah, Golden Mama Rat Pack, right?
Yeah.
And then because this is the rock paper scissors, where stats are really good against tokens, poison is really good against stats, and tokens are really good against poison. Now there's always like the ultimate, right? The ultimate position to play is,
The
well,
cannon.
all my shit is poisonous, and it also has a ton of health, right?
Yeah,
So
the
if
cannon
you're,
angle. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Just
well, no, you can be, you can have what we just had, right? You can have Bran, a Malgadon, and then sure, play or a Mega Buster against my 100 HP
yeah.
Amalgadon.
I'm saying there's
Okay.
rock paper scissors, and then you just play the
Yeah,
cannon.
and they're shotgun,
Yeah.
bam, all,
Just
like I beat all three,
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
right? But then that one is still going to be more vulnerable to poison, right? So, anyways, to really to that's, you know, you said like say something, that's what I was, that was what I felt like you were getting at, that we had a sort of a natural evolution of the meta instead of Blizzard and for enforcing that with a patch.
Yeah, and it's cool to see, because I don't feel like we get those natural evolutions before patches come. So
Yeah.
it's
Now people were given enough time to actually.
yeah. Ultimate comp is leader comp.
Right up until the Baron dies. It's the
Yeah.
best comp. It's the best comp in the game right up until the Baron dies.
Yeah, then yeah.
That's all.
Dude, there was one game, was it XQN or Bill? Yeah, it was Bill. Bill, oh, you didn't watch Bill, oh dude. Yeah, he was playing against Pocky in the finals. Bill had like 30 something health, and Pocky was like one shot from lethal. Pocky had this like really good leaper comp, and was just like running it down, trying to counter it, like buff the Baron and stuff like that. And Bill just needed to buff his zap. He had a zap, right? But Pocky had to counter to the zap. And I was like, just buff the zap. Like he was like rolling over 1-2 bacons. Like so many. I was just like, just buff it. Like so many times the Baron had 1 health. Like and it's you know, and I'm just like buff it, right? But he's at 30 something, right? So when he lost, he took 9. And then he took like 10, right? Then he took 9 again, right? And then like eventually he triples the zap, you know, and like it's like, yeah, okay, a golden zap is gonna do it, you know, and I'm just like, Pocky is gonna be like so mad because Pocky played it so well, right, to counter it, but
He wasn't playing a Spore, he was playing like Mummy or something.
He wasn't playing a sport, like that was the one thing Pocky needed to do at the end, right? But
roll for a Spore,
yeah, but he had Bill had 2 zaps at some point, you know, so like the sport wouldn't work, right? So, but like you saw that Bill got the triple, right? So maybe, you know, oh, he got a triple, it's probably a zap, you know, and then play the sport, right? So there's definitely some thought to be behind it, but like it was like so annoying. I was so frustrated for Pocky because Pocky was like doing what he needed to do, but then Bill just like takes 9, 10, 9, right, and then still alive, and then triples the zap. It doesn't deal damage, yeah.
It's a rat at the end, pretty much.
It might have been one of the more frustrating games I've watched, you know, from, you know, just because we were watching Bill's side, we weren't watching Pocky's side, right? But I just imagine being Pocky and like, I'm playing around this, and then the zap, you know, like you know, you win because you're outplaying him. Your Baron has 1 health over his, and then eventually he goes into the zap, and you lose, and you're like, damn, you know, if I just dealt like a little bit more damage, right? Like Bill gets rewarded, I felt, for misplaying, just because he was so healthy, and he's playing against Sleeper. But I don't know. There was a lot of tilters in Silica's tournament. I feel like I've like just watching the games, just not as a caster, but as just like having fun watching. I'm like, oh, I'm so tilted here. Like that. You were talking with Sapphire about that high roll game where everyone was high rolling. It was so tilting. Just so like Sleepy in particular, just had some random board and then like triples Murzon into like gold double golden Felbat. Like not deserved. Like, and he just kills like Mr. Incredible. Out of like Mr. Incredible was strong, but didn't deserve to die. I was so tilted because like, whatever. It's been a lot of games. Anyways, but what was my point?
Your point was leapers, and then you went on.
I went off.
I remember a game where there was leapers. And
Yeah.
let me tell you what happened.
But yeah, sleepers are the best comp until they die. You said that, and then yeah, until the Baron dies. Yeah.
And that's where we left off.
Yeah, that's where we were left off. Anyways, we had some tournaments today. I'm just gonna skip the whole because I don't remember where we were. And it's just cool. It's cool. I enjoy casting, right? And I think it's fun. So it's nice to like this like last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks have just been like mostly casting for me. Like I play a couple of games, but mostly casting. I'm basically waiting for the new patch or so before I really jump back.
You wanna jump in when it's reset essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just kind of waiting. Like I don't really care about playing too much. Yeah, casting and chilling, exactly. But it's just been fun for me. I don't know if it's different for you to play it and grind and so like I know you don't.
Yeah, it's been super super nice to have a goal to aim at. Like especially the Cal VPN tournament lasting 3 days. That was just really cool, and people really liked watching it as well. I was a little scared because you did need to have a 10-minute delay, so there was essentially no chat interaction. And my viewer numbers were very very good during the tournament, so that was nice. The level of play was also just high, and like what I really really liked is that we played a ton of games. We played 8 games in the round of 16 and then another 8 games in the round of 8.
16, yeah.
So yeah, it really felt like, of course it's still battlegrounds and it's still a relatively small sample size, but it still feels better that if you have a field of 16 that you get to play 8 games to determine if you're top 8 or bottom 8. And we saw some really really good points there because that's like Terra Blade, who won the whole thing, essentially barely made day 2, and RDU, who went on to play in the finals, was dead last after day 1. So that's where it's really cool to have a high volume of games so you can offset some bad RNG, or maybe just had a bad day. Like I had a really bad day. My first day was really good. I accumulated enough of a lead. Or not a lead. I think I was 1 point behind first.
Yeah.
But then my day 2 was awful. Like if I was just day 2, I would not have advanced. But both combined still put me in 4th or something. So,
yeah, 4th. Yeah.
Like that I found was really really cool. I do understand that not every tournament can do that. Like you said, there was a lot of production stuff here. There were sponsors. This was really well organized. And I know that not every tournament can do that, to say, okay, it's going to be multiple days. We're going to have all these production tools where we could show multiple boards, and we have the live updating health, and we're going to have a very, I'd say, like Swiss-like feeling where you have many many rounds before we're going to go for the round of 8.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with those points, right? But it's just hard to do if you don't have like a production behind you. There are two questions. First one is, why is old Murkai still in the game? And if you have questions, in your chat as well, just feel free to bring them up.
Oh, my chat is ultra dead.
Okay. Why is Murkai still in the game? Bunch of cards have been changed, but still around. It's just like, they like having cards that are in the original game, essentially, right? Like they don't want to introduce like all brand new cards for Hearts for Battlegrounds because they want a bridge, and Murkai is one of them that they've had from basically like near the beginning.
It's not great, but it's playable.
Yeah, the one issue is like it has charge on it, and charge doesn't do anything in Battlegrounds. It just
Yeah, that is so weird. That is.
yeah. That would be more of the question I would have for the card versus the card itself. It's just like why is charge there? Like it just looks
Mhm.
weird. And if you haven't played Hearthstone or whatever, and you're just like playing Battlegrounds your first game, and you look and like, oh, this card has a special charge effect. Oh man, dude, I wonder what it does. It's like the only card in Battlegrounds that has that, and you're just like, yeah, that doesn't do anything. Like it's just so weird, right? If you're talking to someone who doesn't know Hearthstone,
Yeah,
and
you're
yeah,
like, but why is it on the carton? Like,
yeah.
yeah, well, like I don't have a good explanation to that other than they want the card to be the same.
And then the other one is how much do you bench? And I have no idea. I haven't checked my bench in years.
Hasn't benched in a while.
Yeah, I don't bench. I do push-ups if anything.
So Onion Knight had a question earlier, and I think it basically boils down to: do you like Nest Matron or Light Spawn? And I think it's Nest Matron. It's
Oh,
just
versus? It's
yeah.
like which one do I
It
like more?
it used to be Light Spawn for me because it was so like straightforward, but then now that people are more likely to do poison stuff and really really pushing for the tier 6 Murloc things, it's Nest Matron for me.
I would say I still like Light Spawn because it's brain dead. And anytime you can give me a brain dead way to, win the
All right.
lobby.
So let's say Lobby Legends is here and your placement on the ladder matters. Would you pick a Light Spawn or would you pick a Nest Matron?
And if Murlocs are in that, now generally I have to see if Murlocs are in. If Murlocs are in, Nest Matron jumps up for
All right.
me. And then also, if demons are in, elementals jumps up. I will throw that in, but generally, but Murlocs I think is like the deciding factor because I don't care. Like I don't care if demons are in, if Murlocs are in. Like it doesn't matter, right? So it's basically if Murlocs are in, then Nest Matron's better. But if they're not, then Light Spawn for me, make it simple, stupid.
I think that's fair. Yeah, especially if beasts are out, then we have extremely low access to poison. And
Yeah, yeah. So
I will reminisce about the one glory game of playing Cthulhu when I say that.
that game was so good.
This is yeah for all the Cthulhu, for all you two Cthulhu fans out there, they're still playing Cthulhu. There was this lobby in the tournament where it was the, I call that the once in a blue moon lobby, right? Where Cthulhu is your best hero, right? So you don't have great heroes. So that's the prerequisite number one, which doesn't happen very often, right? But
yeah,
then the second prerequisite is you do not have Murlocs, you do not have beasts, dragons are in,
yeah.
and then preferably no elementals either. And it was the perfect one. There was no Ellies, there was no Murlocs, there was no beasts. So what does that mean? Very, very limited access to poison, almost no access to poison. It means that you can stay on tier 2 and roll dragons and get Whelp Smuggler, and then the hero power of Cthulhu interacts extremely favorable with Whelp Smuggler, giving you tons and tons of HP, especially if it's a golden one. They have a YouTube video for this
I
Cthulhu.
should.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I,
should make.
I'm on YouTube again, and it's
Okay.
it's either in the queue or it's already there. So yeah, you
Okay.
can check my YouTube.
Yeah, I need to
Um,
post day 3 for the tournament. That's the one issue.
right.
Yeah, but I'll upload that at some point. Maybe today if I feel like I want to do some work. But yeah. Um.
It was actually today's video. Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Perfect.
I will link it.
Yeah.
That's
Link
actually
it. Link that sucker, boys. Let's go. Um. But yeah, it's one of those games where I'm just looking and like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, I know what Shady can do here, but will he do it in the tournament? Like I was like,
yeah.
oh man, I was
Now, I high rolled it,
you did a
but
little bit.
I feel like I would have been okay not high rolling it,
Yeah,
but I had a chance to get first as
yeah,
Cthulhu.
yeah.
Right? It was only because I was up against a
So,
scam guy who kept rolling splitting, who had a perfect bong, and my
yeah.
hit kept being like, "Oh my god!" So I procced his ice block, right? So like it was just very very frustrating to not take first there. But like getting second on a Cthulhu in a really stacked tournament, that's
Yeah.
so cool. I feel like
Uh,
fuck it, I'm playing Cthulhu. Right?
I was like,
Uh,
oh my god. was so
You know,
great. Oh man,
they were so, like on the round table or stuff, it's just like Cthulhu F tier,
yeah,
completely
yeah,
unplayable. It's like,
yeah.
you guys are ranking this based on perfect tribes in and out. Yes,
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
It's like,
yes, right, yeah.
and if that is the case, there is no fucking way Cthulhu is F tier, right?
I,
Because the consistency is like high enough.
I
And when you
wish
hit,
when they were talking about Katsuna, I was like, dude, I wish that he was here. He would be go
show him
on
the game,
with.
show him the game.
I mean, we have examples now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, there's proof. It's been done at least once. Right?
That's all you need. Oh man, but yeah,
Anyways, yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
yeah, it was.
Overall, really, like, I hope that this is sort of a momentum thing that just keeps going, where we're gonna keep seeing a lot of tournaments, because I think especially with Lobby Legends, just have it's almost like a study group, right? Where you just have this group of streamers and just in general high level players that don't necessarily have to stream, right? But you just know them. If you just have those and you play this on an almost weekly basis, just imagine how much faster not only you guys improve, but your little meta evolves. Where, like, the great example was like you guys in the global games
The
playing
Invitational,
against
yeah,
China,
yeah.
right? And then you guys have played so much against each other, and you figured out that this staying on tier one, which now we might do less, right, with less emphasis on light spawn, but especially at the time, that meta was very, very dominated by staying on one and tripling into four drops. And China was not doing that. And that's the cool part, where if you have these tournaments and you have people just playing, 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 practicing, there's definitely going to be these trends that you're going to be very comfortable with, and you're going to be ahead of the curve. Whereas if you had just played a ladder where you keep getting away with all kinds of stuff you really shouldn't be getting away with, yeah, that just really helps. So that if you, let's say you do qualify for Lobby Legends, then you have all that experience and you go in there very comfortable. Whereas you might have someone else who's just a ladder grinder, who's very good at, quote unquote, beating up noobs, if we have to put it that way. Which, of course, it's not just noobs, but you do play a little different, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I was saying I hope that play style is going to get closer together, right? The tournament and ladder play style. But it's just been very exciting. So I hope that we can continue this stream of tournaments and just keep playing as good players. And yeah, my game, even though my game right now, I'm not I'm not really sure, but I think that's good. It just makes you question stuff, and almost always you get stronger at the end of that. You get a little bit of a dip where you're not really confident and you're questioning things, but then when you get out of that dip, it's your game is a lot stronger.
If you get out of the dip, right?
Get out of it. You can also just,
yes,
fall,
some people
fall into
stay in
other
the dip, yeah.
questions. You're like, I guess I just don't know how
Yeah.
to play this game.
I mean,
Okay.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The problem is a lot of people die.
Sometimes it kills you, right? Yeah. I think that's where I just have this stubbornness, where it's like I might have like just these like really bad days, but I'll be there again the next day, and then I'll just like keep going, right? Like I feel like you have the same way, where you might more literally bang your head against the wall, right? Whereas I might be like, all right, let's like take two steps away from the wall, let's see if there's a way around the wall, let's see if other people have found a way around the wall.
That's true. That's when you know I'm desperate, when I'm looking for other advice for the wall.
I was like, oh, I guess I'll just like see what other people are doing. Oh, I can't believe it's come to this.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Do you think the streamer reveals for next patch means that Blizzard is taking BGs more seriously? That's an interesting question with probably some nuance to that answer, right? I guess there's two things to know. I think that jumps out to me. First thing is Alkali Lay is just a monster. She's really good as a community manager. She definitely wants everyone to feel included, and everyone to like feel like their voice is much more heard than it was before, right? And it's something that I think isn't like too hard for them to implement. Having Battlegrounds content creators have some presence, have some known, have some reveals, right? Just like Constructed, right? Like, and you could argue it's a long time coming, but that just means that she's doing the right job. If she's I don't know if she's like spearheading the initiative or so, right? But it feels like that, at least front facing. It feels like she's doing a lot of the, hey, we could do this, and then like she's getting some agreement or whatever, right? But I definitely want to give a lot of credit to her because like she came on the team and like so many things have changed in terms of like community response and the things that have opened up and stuff like that. Even in the invitational, um, she didn't really have a part in it, but she like jumped into the Discord and just started like communicating and making sure everyone's like good. And it's just like you didn't have to do that. Like, just like that's great. So I definitely want to give her credit. Another thing is just like mercenaries, and I really feel like mercenaries like as its own project has been having some difficulties. Like the obvious thing, it might not be mercenaries itself, but the meta and mercenaries, right? It doesn't change that much, right? And I talked to PJ, right, and he's like at least so very aware of the mercenary stuff. But Valeria has been a problem in mercenaries, speed ties, and just speed advantages. Like it's just very still. It's funny because I had this issue like right at the get go. I wrote like a little note of my thoughts, and like I was like, my biggest issue is speed, and how it influences everything else in the game and speed ties. And I was like, it doesn't really feel like anyone's talking about it, but I feel like in 2 months or so, when people are better, it'll be very problematic. And I think it became more problematic when they added more speed adjustment heroes, where more heroes that can do adjust speed and make it zero speed and stuff like that. And now, like anytime I frequently mercenary subreddit, they're all talking about speed and Valera and stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, I knew. I knew. I was aware of this.
I was dropping in the I told you.
I told you so. Exactly.
But I mean, why else do you have a podcast if you can't say I told you so? Right?
But because of like the mercenary issue, right? And they've been working on mercenaries for years, right? Like multiple years, right? And it just feels like, oh, we did so much, and the response isn't like amazing.
Really panning out,
yeah, so we have this battlegrounds thing that's just been like, it's just sitting here. It's doing so well. We don't even really have to try that hard. They're making tournaments for themselves. Yeah. Like, why?
That's so. No, sorry. Please continue.
Why don't we just like put some effort into it? It's just right here for years.
It's just. I could just imagine Blizzard screaming out, "Why are you guys playing Battlegrounds? Play Mercenaries! There's way more development time in Mercenaries. Don't you know how many man hours went into Mercenaries? Please respect Mercenaries more. Like why are you guys playing Battlegrounds?" Yeah, obviously that's not the case, but like, hey, I mean, in a way, that's just it's some trial and error, and you just get to like see what your audience wants to play, and people like playing Battlegrounds, and now is then the time to say, okay, well, how do we take advantage of that, right? How do we make it so that both the players keep enjoy playing it, and it's also profitable for Blizzard to keep.
Yeah, but you really
into it.
You really started to see the more like some more conscious effort like near the end of last year, where they introduced like a lot of skins. They introduced that board, the new board, right? Now they're adding streamer reveals and stuff like that, right? Like that's a conscious effort and changing, and it really
Lobby Legends,
yeah, and Lobby Legends, yeah.
These are Blizzard tournaments we're throwing at,
and it really felt like it was like after Mercenaries. That's what I feel like after Mercenaries launched it, then they're like,
okay. So I guess in a way, like to just be very frank, like it would be good for Blizzard if Mercenaries was very popular because it's a bit more gated, right? You need to put in either a lot of gold,
or spend money,
and you need to. So we can see why it would, like, I mean, we don't need to be childish about that. Like, it's a company. Companies like making money. Like they actually have to make money. That's how it works. So yeah, it would be nice for Blizzard if Mercenaries were like a huge hit. But it just means now that, and that doesn't mean like Mercenaries is done or anything. It keeps working on that. But with having more time available now to put into Battlegrounds, like we see like Lobby Legends, we see the skins being introduced, we see the board skins. It would be really nice to just get a lot of support for the game mode. Not in the least with like this like even bigger tournament circuit, right? Like obviously you don't want to say like, oh well, Lobby Legends hasn't even launched yet. We want more, right?
I want more. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I do want more.
I don't care. Like I do want
like
more. Like I do.
just so these like master tour type events would be
Yeah.
so cool to just say like, okay, man, here's hundreds, if not over 1,000 battlegrounds players thrown into one event, and it's just like one guy
Like
standing there.
Solissa can get like 300 people. Like
Yeah,
even
like
more.
that, right?
Like that. Like it's crazy, right? Like how
Yeah.
much more if you had Blizzard behind that? Like it's crazy.
And you can, and the thing is, like, even if you have something like an entrance fee, which is not uncommon at all if you were to play any kind of other tournaments, right? If you say like there is a prize pool and then it's like what, $5 or so to enter, right? Like obviously you will filter a lot more because some people might say, oh, I'm not going to pay any kind of entry fee. But I mean, if you're talking like these big prize pools at the end for the top 8, I'm sure that a lot of people wouldn't mind paying that entry fee to just participate. I mean,
sure.
like whenever I played like any kind of paper,
They do that
right?
in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic,
like
Pokemon,
Arena, like the
Yu-Gi-Oh.
online version, they have tournaments
Yeah,
with real prize money, and there's an
yeah,
entry fee, and they just have it in there, and like
yeah.
just the tournament mode, like.
And that's yeah. That's so, but you can do that then daily, right? You say like, oh, I'm just gonna
Sure.
join a Magic tournament today. Like, I mean, that might be too much to set up where we can
Right.
just, but
Sure.
that would also be cool, right? If
Yeah.
there was just be like, hey, here's tournament mode, there's automatic, but whatever. Like that would be like you'd probably get compensated with like Blizzard packs or something, right? The way how brawls work.
I
So it'd be
know.
like, oh, you can do
Yeah.
a
Of
BG
course. Of
brawl and then you
course.
get packs, and it's like, well, I don't really care about getting
Constructive players
card
would lose
packs,
their
right?
mind. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
They would.
mm,
To be fair, they would. But like,
exactly, exactly. So anyways, just long story short, seeing new effort being put into BGs,
yeah.
both on like the community aspect and making tournaments, and that is really cool and very appreciated.
Yeah. So, yeah, generally, I'm glad to see them, caring more about uh, battlegrounds and like their creators and whatnot, stuff like that. But I do think there's like other, less generous reasons behind it. So, it's not just like, oh yeah, 2 years in, now's a good time to care. Like I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's just like, okay, we have Battlegrounds obviously is staying. We should definitely put more effort. And Alkalele is definitely making sure, like he's making sure people care. So that's just like a nice coincidence. To make the push even stronger. But I do think it's just it's too hard to ignore. Like it's just a big part of the game. Like obviously in terms of revenue, like Constructed just like still blows everyone out of the water because it's hard to spend money in battlegrounds. Like it's a weird statement, but I think it's true. Like it's hard to spend money in battlegrounds. Like even if I wanted to, like I'm looking and there's skins and stuff like that, right? But I get the skins, right? I have
Yeah, that'd be
we'll get
like
codes and stuff, but
that's a brainstorm session for them, which I'm sure they've had many times.
yeah,
Is
many
like, okay,
times,
well,
yeah,
how do we turn this into like a more profitable game mode? Which like I play it so much that like I wouldn't mind, right? So,
right.
um, but yeah, I mean that's also part of why it's probably so popular is completely, like, well, not completely. You got to buy perks,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
But that is, but you don't
you
have
don't
to,
have to
right?
buy perks, yeah. I
But
mean,
it does.
just
It feels a
it,
bit more like you're also playing because I mean
casually.
you don't have to pay anything for constructed either, right? Constructed is completely free,
That's
right?
true.
That is
That's
true. You can play constructed.
damn, dude.
100%
It's
free to
funny
play.
how like you make that comparison, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, no, you can't not buy. You can. I was like, you
And,
can buy perks, and then you're like, constructed is free. So it's like, no, you can't not buy. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm
and
doing it.
and granted, the experience you're going to have if you're free to play in Battlegrounds is going to be significantly better than if you're free to play in
I
constructed.
had to choose between Guff and Wag Toggle Shady.
Yeah,
I don't
well, I
know.
mean,
Like, I don't
I
know.
mean, you got a really easy first place. So I don't see the problem. That was such a great game. I think we're going to see a lot of whack in the tournament.
I don't know.
Meta person.
But yeah, it's true. You do kind of need perks, right? If you really want to play on a more competitive
Yeah.
level.
It is the easiest fix if you have like a no perk player. Like, what can I do? Is like get some perks. Right? It's just like heroes matter, right? It's like, oh, what if I just play really, really well? It's like heroes matter, right? It's like getting a hook tusk instead of a whack toggle, which very well may have been in that pack, right? There's a hook tusk and a Malagos lurking right there
Yeah,
behind
I
the box,
know.
and you can't see him. You can't.
Would be a much. You know what I think would be more tilting if you could see it.
If you could see him.
I do. I would
Oh
get the
god.
perks immediately. I know myself.
Honestly, that is such an amazing business decision. Just show them what they're missing out on. Like the amount of perks is going up immediately.
It's just
You're
so
welcome,
mean.
Blizzard. You're welcome. There you go.
I don't love it. I don't love the like the
Show them
meanness
what
of
they're
it.
missing out on. There we go. Everybody buying perks from now on.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I do think that would be very interesting. But I just think it's nice, right? And especially Lobby Legends, right? The thing is, they still haven't released like the real details, right? And it's been
Yes.
like a month plus.
It would be nice to know exactly what we got to do.
Yeah, like I'm either guessing it's they're gonna release it on the 25th or whenever the next patch is coming out, right? It's either the 20th or the 25th. They're gonna release it then, or I have no idea when they're releasing it. Like, or I guess if the I don't know if the season's resetting next patch even. Do you know?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
Because I
right.
think we just had a big constructed patch, right? And I think it's always like a month after that or so.
Okay. You know, like I dabble in constructed now for some reason, and I
You
know.
dabble.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. People are complaining about Rogue so much, and they were so tilted with this. They're angry because they have to wait another 2 weeks for the patch when they know Rogues have been a problem for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks so far, and you know it's like right obvious. It's like obvious. You know, you look at the stats, Rogue is just a huge problem, and then this announcement comes out, and they're like, they're delaying the patch because of Battlegrounds of announcements and stuff. They're like, I can't believe this. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, sorry about that. It's just we're just more important now. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that. But I do think it's nice that they are doing more content, I guess, with Battleground stuff, right? Like just reveals and such. And there's also that buddy. What's it called? Buddy something? There's an event with
Yes.
a streamer and a buddy. That's
Or we
what.
will be showcasing the new mechanic and new cards and all that.
Yeah, I think it's on the 20th. Okay, so the patch is on the 25th, and then this thing is on the 20th. I think that's what.
It's a teaser
Yeah,
type.
yeah. We're both in, but we're not playing
Yes,
together.
to my surprise, yeah.
But
So
why?
Collins comes to me. I was like, I'm not playing with you. I was like, okay.
That's not
I
what
guess
I
we're doing that. Sure.
said. That's not what I said. It wasn't that brutal. I was just saying we play together so much, that it makes a ton of sense to kind of branch out a little bit, because I mean,
Collins just wanted to see other streamers, right?
no, it's not it. I just think that it's a great opportunity, to get closer to the community, stuff like that. My our friendship level is like max, I think, or something.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's almost a waste at that point. Right? It's like
It's
another
not a
event
waste.
with Shady.
It's not
right?
a waste.
No, I feel you, right? It's an RPG, and you're like, man, like that step is maxed out. Do I really want to go through another thing that's gonna add? Probably not, right?
I just thought it was nice, and Celissa invited me, and I was like, okay, why not?
I think it's good. I think it's good. Yeah.
So, I just think it's gonna be cool. I would love to play with Shady and whatnot. We'll play together for sure.
There'll be no shortage of that.
Yeah, so I just thought it would be cool. But yeah, do you wanna you don't want to announce who you're playing with, are you?
I can. It's just like, was there Was there like a go ahead that I was okay, or
Too many people have done it before for it to care. Like I know you're being safe,
yeah.
but like there's been too many people just say it.
All right, well, I'll be playing with Lee.
With
So
Lee, okay.
yeah,
I I know some of the other players. I know I probably know all of them, but
I
I
brought out the big guns. Just kind
I
of like, all right,
I don't
Collins
feel
hasn't joined me. We have to crush it,
I
right?
don't I this isn't fair, that
Like,
I didn't know
I threw
you.
out like applicant forms of like, how many tournaments have you won recently, right? And everyone's like, all right, it's Lee guys, they're pretty well.
Damn, that's
And it'd
brutal.
be like, are we playing with the new cards? No, buy Reborn Max now, destroy them. No, we're pretty much. I feel like if you're gonna win, you better damn well win with some new cards, right? So I think that's gonna be the general theme. We're just all gonna buy the same cards. It's all the new cards are gonna be out of the pool immediately.
I don't know if I'm gonna be playing with the new cards.
I feel like if you win and your board is 3 Amalgadons and 2 Reborn Max, like I think production is gonna take you aside and be like, that's kind of not what we're here for, right? It's like like you might want to reconsider your board.
Just let my strategy is just let the other players kill themselves. Just take the dogs and win. Let the other players kill themselves, and you just take the dogs and win. It's genius. But I mean, I feel it's more likely we have like a Doomsayer Frogger situation than not, where it's like these are just so strong. Like what
that has been the recent Blizzard, well, maybe not even recent, but that's been the Blizzard MO where we will make sure it's strong enough. And then, like we want to make sure that if we're over or underdoing it, we're overdoing it. Right?
yeah.
We do not want to underdo it. They did that with, what was
Diablo?
it? Sorry?
Diablo?
Yeah, Diablo, but I feel like they did it with something before Quillbores, and you could really feel that with Quillbores. It was like, all right, you guys are playing Quillbores, whether you like it or not.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
feel like that's the first one I played, and like maybe they did it with Elementals too, right?
Dragons were also really weak when they came out.
So maybe Dragons too weak, and then Elementals is maybe when it started, right? Because like from what I hear, I never played that meta. It was just roll for Genie, and you're not.
Oh, Genie was so stupid. It could pull any elemental.
Yeah,
and
so and you didn't have to be on tier 6 for rags.
Yeah, it was on tier 5. Yeah, so you just get a Genie, and then you get dongs and rags. Like, what
the
is
first one I experienced was Quillbores, but that one was, I've heard that many times.
Another thing was, I don't know if this might still be true, to be fair, but it's like the percentages is 1 out of how many is, so there's the same percentage to get a Genie or a dong is the same percentage to get like the 1-drops. Yeah, right. So it was so common. You just have like golden dong, golden little rag, because like it's just like you have 2 of them, like 3 turns, you're gonna get a little rag dog, and you just win. It was kind of nuts. But
yeah. All right. Well, so something to look out for, right? Like incentive to get the new cards, and then potentially scaling them back shortly after, where I felt like with the Doomsayer meta, they probably already had some nerfs on the books and be like, all right, well, this is likely what we're gonna need. We'll let people break the game first, but this is likely what we're gonna need, like break in case of OP, and then they're like, all right, sure. Doomsayer, not only are you getting +1 avenge, you're also moving up a tier.
are you a little bit hyped?
Still really good.
Are you hyped for the new changes? Because I've heard Celissa talk about it. She seems to know, because she's friends with everyone, and she's like Battlegrounds 2.0.
She's like unfair knowledge advantage. I think Sun knows as well. Yeah. So I haven't seen anything. I mean, it's cool. So for me, it's pretty much win-win. I like playing established metas.
Right.
I will play Reborn Max Nadongs for another 2 months, and I really don't. Like, I will complain still, like when my shit dies to a Reborn Max now, but I'll just get better at
Using
playing
it.
around it and
Yeah.
abusing it
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have no qualms about that. I will say like, okay, this is stupid, this is OP, let's do it. Right?
That's classic shady.
That's classic me, right? It's the same thing in the Doomsayer meta. I was fine playing Doomsayer meta. Doomsayer was obviously not fine, but I was fine playing it. Like I was like, all right, well, the game really revolves around getting this card, and this is how you abuse it to the maximum. And if you don't get it, you go for jugglers and this and this and that. And I was farming a lot of MMR. And I think if you can make that click in your head and say, it doesn't really matter whether it's a good meta or not. What matters is how does it work, and can you find a system? Can you learn how to use it? And the answer to that is almost always yes, if you're willing to not complain, and if you're willing to just say, okay, well, is it stupid? Yeah. How do I maximize its stupidity? Right? How do I really maximize my chance of getting Doomsayer, etc.? But is it fun to learn new stuff? Absolutely. So I think in that way, I'm pretty blessed where I will really enjoy playing an established meta, and I'm better in an established meta. But I would also really enjoy learning a new meta. And then like I'm not going to be as good, but that's fine. I know I'll catch up eventually. So
I have no
maybe you
idea. I don't know what
no
I
idea
like.
whether you're going to like it or.
No, I have no idea what I like. Like, do I like new metas? I don't know. do, do,
But
do
you've
I,
been playing games for a while now, Collins. You don't have any idea
I
whether you
have
like it
no
or not.
clue, dude. I know, and I think that's the I was thinking about. Do I like old metas? I don't know.
I think it maybe depends a little bit on just how invested you are. Where if you have a lot of hours in a meta,
Yeah.
you probably do really enjoy that end game
I
stage of the
like
meta.
being invested. That's true.
Yeah.
Like when I have something to play for, when I can look forward to stuff or tournaments or whatever. I was looking forward to casting. I've been having a tough fun. This whole week's like my whole week's filled with stuff to do. I don't. I was just like, oh, this is great. But then when
Yeah,
I
not,
like so.
not having to think what you're gonna do is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
exactly, yeah. So maybe that's what I enjoy. It's not the game itself. It's just like, oh yeah, like the week I had to practice for Storybook Brawl, super fun. I was like just like playing Storybook Brawl all day. Like I didn't care. I had a tournament in a week, and I just had to practice. That was tons of fun. And the tournament's done. And I'm like, well, I'm not playing Storybook. Like,
But
just
you have a purpose, right? And
yeah,
everything's very clear, very aligned. Like, okay, I know this is yeah, this is part why these like why WoW, for instance, for me is so cool and so addictive. It's all very linear. It's very clear, right? You level your guy, you equip your guy, you get stuff. Like it's very very cool. And it's the same thing if you've got a tournament. There's no questions. Isn't that okay?
yeah,
I'm playing. This is why I'm playing,
yeah.
and motivations there. And yeah, that is super cool.
That's what I like. There we go. I found it out. I mean, that's just one thing, but that's like one of the bigger things I think for me. Yeah, hopefully. So that's why I'm waiting for Lobby Legends, the data to come out, and I'm like, oh, here it is. I just need a top
Is
eight,
it
or
worth getting invested for it?
yeah, is it worth getting invested? I mean, I maybe I'm too confident. I'm like top four, that's fine. Top eight, that's fine. Top six, it's like it's fine. Like I'll do whatever the requirement is. I'll go for it because I can do it. So it's kind of funny, but that's pretty cool generally. But yeah, I mean, is there any other questions, guys? Any little tips and tricks? I normally don't really answer questions. I don't talk about myself, so now's the time to jab it in while I'm feeling comfortable. All right, this
Unique opportunity to get your question featured on the podcast.
before I close it out
I
forever.
think
Yeah,
there was a question about Silas earlier, like what
there
tier you
was,
would
there
put
was.
Silas. So, for me, Silas is not an insanely good hero, but he's like comfort pick that I'm struggling with a little bit right now. But definitely in other metas, Silas was a super comfortable pick for me. I think if 3-on-3 is good, Silas is good because 3-on-3 is very good with Silas.
I've never liked Silas. That's gonna be my thing, but I respect him. That's what I've said. I don't like Silas, but I respect it.
You haven't played enough Hogger, Silas. That is just being able to buy tickets for
I haven't
free.
played enough Hogger. Period. That's what I feel. Like I really haven't played enough Hogger. Like anytime I can get Hogger now, I try to force it just to just have more reps. It's funny.
Get in the
Like,
reps for sure.
yeah.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I've played a lot of Hogger before, but in this meta, I was so kind of just like, well, light spawner matron, light spawner matron, light spawner matron. Then I feel like it's like, wait, you guys have been playing APM Pirates for the last month?
Yeah, right. When there was like in that tier ranking where everyone was like pirates are the best, I'm just like, huh?
Peggy S tier. Peggy.
Yeah,
I was just like, what? You guys are buying Peggy? What are you guys doing? Like,
I was the same, man. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. That's probably because we're in our little echo chamber.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Yeah, lights spawn good. Yeah, lights spawn good.
What time does this tourney start? It should have already started, but I'm just waiting for
any minute now, Copia.
Yeah, any minute now. Yeah, it should start in 6 minutes, Copia. Yeah. Let me actually check. I know she's not gonna tell me it starts in 6 minutes. She's starting a new game. You know.
Okay. So from what maybe the first one isn't being broadcasted or so, because I'm in the Discord now, and Terry said that all lobbies should be started, and then if your lobby is done and you advance, you can relax for a bit. I'll make another announcement when round 2 starts. So maybe Sissa just wants to get started in round 2.
Round 2, yeah, I think that's probably true.
Maybe just like cull the week a little bit at the start, be like, let's not cast the whole thing. So yeah.
Would that be mean, like, to cast the beginning when you know it's like it's not going to be like the top 200 in the ladder?
I think that if you are completely transparent up front and people are okay, like being on stream and potentially like making a stupid mistake or whatever, yeah, sure. I don't think that's mean at all. I think if you can't handle that, then you won't sign up.
Yeah, you say that, but I don't know.
There's nice ways, of course, to go about it. You could say like, yep, this is a strict misplay. We are watching a strictly inefficient play from player 1 5.
Is that why you don't cast much? Because I know you'd do that. You would absolutely do that.
I can work on that.
Oh man.
I think that's just I am not the play-by-play guy. I am the analytical, like, let's see, like, where is this headed? Where's the strategy and all that? So I do tend to be a little bit more dry and maybe not as sympathetic when I say like, yep, this feels like, they have to do this and they're going in this direction instead and blah, 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 blah. Because for me, it's also exciting to see that and be like, I think there was like one particular tournament that I helped cast, and it was like Gilwing, and it was like, okay, we should be leveling now. We're not leveling. Okay, I don't like this. Like, why are we not leveling? It's like, we're super strong. We could be on 6 right now. What are we doing, right? Like, what's the game plan here? And then, like, you see the player like just being eliminated or whatever. I definitely need a person next to me that's be like, yes, going to 6 is one option. Indeed. But there are some merits to not leveling.
That's me.
It's a little bit more safe, right? You're going to reduce the damage taken and be like, no, that's bullshit. They're going to be dead in 2 turns if they don't level. I hear you.
I try to do that, and it's funny, right? Where I've been working on like not being as nice, I guess it would be what I would say, because sometimes I'm looking at this and I'm thinking in my head like, this is completely wrong. But what I'm gonna say is like, okay, let's think about why they're doing this play, and then I'll talk through it, and then like by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I can see where they're going, but they're still wrong. Like at the end of the day, I think if they're really thinking about how to win this tournament and looking at their position, and if they really want to go for first or second, right, what they're playing is more of a 4th or 5th game plan, right? And if you're really focused, right, it's like last 2 games of the day, you can't really be doing this kind of thing. You have to be going for these first or second plays, which is not what they're doing. So I disagree, something like that, right? So I'm trying to work on that, right? Because sometimes, I just talk about, oh yeah, they're doing this because they're thinking this, right? And that's like the end of the conversation. But I do want to mention, like, I disagree with this play. Like, it's not correct in my opinion or my knowledge. Yeah, so yeah, kind of interesting. So yeah,
I mean, it's a good balance between I think saying it as it is, but saying like not being needlessly mean about it or rude or
You
like
don't want them to listen and then cry.
yeah, essentially you don't want to have a commentary and be like, I hope they're not watching the reruns because that would be awkward. So, there's one you can say like, well, like like probably would have wanted to see, a level here, or we probably would have wanted to see the poison here.
Yeah.
Let's see how this plays out. That's fine. They'd be like, wow, I cannot believe they skipped the 7 here. I mean, that is God, that must be such a huge mistake, right? They're kicking themselves for that right now.
They are
Yeah.
going to be waking up at night thinking about this play. Like, I have said that. Yeah, it's always weird, So I do think that's definitely why it's nice to have another caster, because then you get that conversation, right? And normally, I mean, a lot of times I've noticed like people, like when you're casting, there's a lot of agreement, right? And sometimes there's like small disagreements here or there, but like when you have two people like talk about the game, like a lot of times you'll get like, yeah, this is.
I'll bring some disagreement to the table today. Then that's good.
You do that every day. That is not something I'm worried about at all.
Sure. Now, good dialogue, I think. Just or bringing up another point, right? I think that's almost always useful.
It's definitely cool. So,
anyways, I feel like we're beating around the caster bush a little bit now. I think we're done with questions. So, last chance, guys. If you've got anything, throw it out there. Otherwise, I think we're ready to wrap it up here.
Yeah, sounds good. It's been a nice I'm glad we got this. I was like, when are we gonna do the podcast this week? I felt like we were just gonna skip it, so
Really good.
Glad to have it there. What is that's not a question for me, is it?
Collins' best feature.
I don't want to hear it.
No, I think like I should be able to answer that, right? Like there's obviously some things that come to mind. I think Collins just genuinely wants the best for people, and I can't always. No, it's not like I wish ill on people, right? But I feel like that's something that definitely I'm a lot weaker in. So that's in my opinion one of Collins' best features. Like tries to put himself in other people's shoes, whereas I might be way easier to just say, this guy's an asshole or whatever, and Collins be like, oh, let's figure out like what turned him into an asshole, or is it really an asshole? Right? So that's what is Shady's best feature? Why I'm not sure if they're there, guys.
I got this one right. Besides from looks and braid, those goes without saying, right? But I do think he likes to understand like the world or so, and he definitely likes to have a rational approach on how to look at things, right? So when things go wrong or things look unfair, right, he's able to identify the unfair parts of it, the wrong parts of it, like rationalize it. This is wrong because of this, right? Sometimes you ask people, why is this bad? Why is this wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And they'll just be like, it's wrong. It feels bad. Blah, blah, blah. Shady will be like, it's wrong because X, Y, Z, like here's the reasons, and you should understand that this is the reason why this is bad about the world, or this is wrong about the world, or this is good about the world. He will actually give you answers to some of the difficult questions in life. And I think that's hard to get from people, right? And it's also hard for people to talk about, because sometimes these answers are like, they're not like happy-go-lucky answers.
You don't want to hear them.
Yeah, you don't want to hear them.
You don't always want to hear them.
Yeah, but he will tell you, this is the reason, and let's have a structure, let's fix it, right? He also wants to help you fix it, right? That's another thing, right? Sometimes, you'll talk to me, and you're like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know. I wish you good luck, though. Have a great time, I really feel for you. I won't give you any help, right? Shady will be like, okay, let's sit down, let's solve this problem, We'll be here, I'll be here with you till we figure this out, right? I'm like, I just want to go to bed, but I'm so sorry this happened to you. But I want to go back, And that's really nice, you have a reliable friend, right, in Shady. So I do appreciate that about him. So
thank you, Collins.
You're very welcome. Very easy. Not that I planned this out or anything, but it's just an easy question to answer, you know. How many hoggers are too many hoggers? 8, right? Probably 8, right?
I think that honestly, it's a little bit of a silly question, right? But I think right now, if you have 4, you're fine.
Yeah, 4, you're great. But I think
Yeah.
you can get
So
6 easy, right? And
yeah, yeah,
then,
yeah. But you usually hold number 5.
yeah. But it's
I
not too
think.
many, right? Like,
Well, this is the thing. Sometimes people
playing,
will play number 5,
playing number
and then
5,
we
then it's too
might
many.
have too many, right? So
Yeah.
if you are new to APM Pirates, 5 on the board, meaning a golden one and 2 regular ones, might be too many. Now,
So
if you're
then
experienced,
would 7 be the answer then, not 6? I'm not 8.
7 would be the easy answer
Yeah,
here, I would
right.
say.
Because you have 2 golden, and then the third one,
Have
like,
2
why?
goldens.
Why are
There's
you having? Yeah.
no connection.
So 7. 7's the answer, I guess.
Yeah, there we go.
See, Shady will answer that question. I will. I will tell you. I will tell you like 24. You know, or something like that, where it's like you physically can't add, 24 hoggers, or there's not even that many in the pool or whatever. You know, blah blah blah. Shady will be like, let me think about that. Let's. I guess 4 is the reasonable, but then 5 is too much. But you could have a golden one, so I guess 6 is okay. But then 7 would be a problem. Like 7's the answer, right? That's the difference here. Very clear. They should increase hand size. I mean, you have 10 in your hand, right? Like, isn't that already a lot? Like, set 10 cards in your hand, isn't that?
I think honestly that might not even be a blessing, because that gets so hard to organize. Then you have like a little
Yeah.
scroll bar for your hand. Like, oh shit, the max size all the way on the right. I gotta.
Oh
So
man, that would be a nerf to me.
That might genuinely be like, you think you do, but you don't. Right?
That would make me weaker. That would absolutely.
I
would be.
I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Just keep by.
I would just be holding like 15 cards in my hand, just like, yeah.
No. There's like 50 backlog pirates you still have. Be like, well, I didn't need to play them, So got like 50 pirates I still need to play.
I'm playing Gallywix, so I'm just like, I mean, I'll just buy.
I'm saving these. I might need them someday.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
Oh god. All right. Good stuff. Good podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for all the interesting questions and ending statements. I still have that, blah blah blah. What do I usually say here? Thank you guys for here. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for watching. You can follow us at wherever, right? That's usually what I say. And see you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. And then you say bye, and then I click end. That's what happens.
Hey guys.
Yeah.